Four grown men thought they could scare a 13-year-old boy. They forgot one thing. The truth always fights back. Welcome back to the Untold Struggles, where we uncover the stories they'd rather keep hidden. Today's story is about a 13-year-old boy who was simply walking home when four men decided he didn't belong. What happened next will make your heart race, and by the end, you'll see why standing up against hate can turn the tables. Don't blink, because this story will leave you speechless. The sun was low in the sky as Jayden Morris, 13 years old, slung his backpack over his shoulder and started walking home. He wasn't thinking about danger or trouble or the color of his skin. He was just thinking about finishing his homework before basketball practice. Jayden's neighborhood was quiet. Neat lawns, trimmed hedges, kids' bikes scattered in driveways. He'd lived there since he was 6. It was his home. But to four men watching from truck parked at the corner, Jayden didn't belong. Inside were Rick Dalton, a local contractor with a short fuse, and his 3 friends, Earl, Stan, and Kyle. They weren't cops. They weren't security. They were self-appointed watchmen, convinced Jayden must be up to no good. "Look at him," Rick muttered. "Doesn't live around here. But he's casing houses." Earl nodded. 13 or not, they all start young. The truck rolled slowly down the street, crawling behind Jayden. At first, Jayden didn't notice. But after 3 turns, the sound of tires crunching gravel behind him made his stomach twist. He glanced back. For grown men, watching, following. Jayden's pace quickened. His heart pounded. He cut through a side street, hoping to lose them. The truck followed. Finally, he ducked into a small park. But the men got out of the truck. Now, it wasn't just the sound of the engine. It was footsteps, 4 sets, getting closer. "Hey, boy," Rick's voice barked. "What are you doing around here?" Jayden froze. His voice caught in his throat. I live here," he stammered. "I'm just going home." Stan sneered. "Funny. Haven't seen you before." Jayden's hands shook as he held out his backpack. "I got homework. I got my ID." Rick shoved the bag back at him. "Don't play games. Tell us the truth." For grown men, one 13-year-old boy. The power imbalance was suffocating. Jayden's mind raced. His mother's words echoed in his head. "If you're ever in trouble, call me. Call someone. Don't try to fight alone." With trembling fingers, Jayden pulled out his phone. He hit record. "Please," he said, his voice barely steady. "I don't want no trouble. I'm just going home." The red recording light blinked. The men didn't notice. Earl stepped closer, jabbing a finger at Jayden's chest. "You kids think you can just walk anywhere you want." But before he could finish, a voice shouted, "Hey, what's going on here?" It was Mrs. Alvarez, a teacher from Jayden's school. She had been jogging past when she saw the confrontation. The men stiffened. "He's our neighbor's kid," she said firmly. "And I know his family." "Back off." Rick's smirk faltered. But the damage was done, and the phone in Jayden's hand had captured every second. If you believe Jayden deserves to feel safe in his own neighborhood, hit that subscribe button right now. Stories like his can't stay buried, and your support makes sure they're heard. That night, Jayden showed his mom a video. Tears filled her eyes as she hugged him tight. "This could have ended so much worse," she whispered. The video spread quickly, first among neighbors, then across social media. The world saw it. For men surrounding a terrified boy, demanding answers for the crime of walking while black. And for the first time, Jayden wasn't just a scared kid. He was a witness. He had proof. The 4 men tried to twist the story. Rick went on local radio, saying, "We were just making sure the neighborhood's safe." But the video told the truth. Protesters gathered outside Rick's construction company. Signs read, "Let our children walk free," and "Not your neighborhood watch." Business dried up overnight. Calls for charges against the men grew louder. 2 months later, Jayden sat in a courtroom. His small hands clutched the Bible as he swore to tell the truth. His voice trembled, but never broke as he described what happened. The jury watched the video. They saw the fear in Jayden's eyes. They heard the venom in Rick's voice. For once, the truth was undeniable. The verdict came swift, guilty of harassment, intimidation, and unlawful restraint. Rick and his friends were led away in handcuffs. Jayden sat tall, no longer the powerless boy on that sidewalk. His voice had carried further than their hate. Justice had been served for now. But just as Jayden and his mom thought it was over, an envelope appeared in their mailbox. Inside was a photo of Jayden walking home, taken just days earlier. On the back, scrawled in black ink, "Next time, no cameras." Jayden's mom's hand shook as she dropped the letter. The shadows weren't gone. They were just getting started. At the station, Detective Harris listened politely as Angela explained. He glanced at the letter, then shrugged. "Could be a prank," he said flatly. "A prank." Angela's voice cracked. "My son was stalked, dragged into court, proven innocent. And now someone's threatening him." Harris sighed. "We'll keep it on file. But unless something happens, there's not much we can do." Jayden clenched his fists. He'd seen this before. Grown men taking grown men's word over his. Part 3. The journalist returns. That evening, their doorbell rang. It was Tasha Green, a local journalist who had covered the trial. "I heard about the letter," she said, "and I need you to know something." She pulled out her tablet, showing them articles she'd been investigating. A neighborhood watch group with ties to the very men who followed Jayden. Funding from a wealthy developer named Charles Whitmore, who had a history of backing security patrols. And whispers that the DA's office had been pressured not to pursue harsher charges. Angela's face hardened. So this isn't over because people with money and power don't want it to be. The next week, Jayden noticed it again. A car idling near the park. A man at the grocery store who stared too long. The sound of footsteps behind him on his walk home. He stopped walking alone. But the message was clear. The shadows weren't done with him. One Friday evening, Angela came home to find her front door ajar. "Jayden," she called out, panic rising. Jayden stepped into the hallway. "Mom, I'm fine." "But look." On the kitchen table sat a single object. His backpack, the one he wore the day of the incident. Except this time, it wasn't empty. Inside was a small bag of pills. Angela's knees nearly buckled. "They're trying to frame you again." Angela wanted to call the police, but Jayden shook his head. "They won't believe us. Not unless we show them." He picked up his phone. "We need proof. Just like last time." That night, they met with Tasha, the journalist. She promised to dig deeper. "If someone's planting evidence, we'll find out who's behind it." But as she left their house, a black SUV slowed outside. Its headlights lingered before it drove away. If you believe Jayden and Angela deserve protection, not persecution, hit that subscribe button right now. Stories like this must be heard, and your support keeps them alive. Tasha's digging uncovered something explosive. The four men who followed Jayden weren't acting alone. They were part of a neighborhood watch run by Whitmore. But Whitmore had direct connections to the city council and even the chief of police. Emails showed Whitmore bragging about keeping the neighborhood clean. And in one, he specifically mentioned Jayden Street. Angela's heart sank. They don't just see my son as a target. They see him as an example. 2 weeks later, it happened again. Jayden was pulled from class. Police officers were waiting outside, claiming they'd received an anonymous tip that Jayden had a weapon. Angela rushed to the school, finding her son in tears as officers searched his locker. They found nothing, but the humiliation was real. The whispers from classmates, the look on his teacher's face. Jayden's voice cracked as he asked his mom, "Why do they hate me so much for just existing?" That night, Angela made a decision. She went live on social media, holding up the letter, the planted backpack, and the footage of the school search. "My son is 13 years old. He has done nothing wrong. And yet powerful men in this city are trying to destroy him. We will not be silent." The video spread like wildfire. Within hours, local activists, pastors, and even national figures were calling for investigations. For the first time, it wasn't just Jayden's fight. It was everyone's. But victory always comes at a price. Late one night, as Angela was locking up the house, a brick crashed through the front window. Attached was a note. "You think the world can save you? Watch how fast it forgets." Angela pulled Jayden close as sirens wailed in the distance. The struggle was far from over. To be continued. Jayden exposed the truth, but someone powerful wants to silence him for good. Who is really behind these threats? And how far will they go? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the Untold Struggles, because part 2 will reveal the face behind the shadow.